I started. I'm starting now. Accidentally hit the start button. Hello, everyone. Welcome to LCK Now. I didn't mean to hit the start button, and I just surprised myself. Oops. Anyway, welcome to LCK Now. We're going to be talking about the LCK and the matches that happened this morning. Longzhu Gaming versus KT Rolster and BBQ Olivers versus Jin Air Greenwings. I'm also holding a stuffed whale in my hand for some reason. If you like this, remember, if you like this video, like it, subscribe to the channel if you like this channel and all that jazz. Let's get on with the show. Longzhu Gaming and KT Rolster, two teams coming into this game. Longzhu Gaming went 1-1, a little bit disappointing for them. I think they wanted to be 2-0 coming into this week, and KT Rolster just wanted to continue to prove that they are one of the best teams in this league. So they go on and do that. They do win that series 2-0. BBQ Oliver is again the team that I've been really hyped about, and I keep pushing on this show. They come in 1-1. I look for them to have a good bounce back game against Jin Air Greenwings, who have yet to win a game. That does happen. They end up winning 2-0. So we're going to go into some in-depth analysis onto both games. The first game I won't talk too much about. Kind of like last week, it was just kind of like someone rolled over the other team, and that was just kind of that. The biggest thing to note on this thing, Pawn playing on Orianna, who goes 8-1-3, just really dominated. Really showed what you can do when you can just one-shot anybody with your ult. It was pretty crazy. But the big thing to note in this game, actually, though, is in this first game, Longzhu actually had the gold lead at 4.5k, so I shouldn't say it was just like a roll. A lot of it seemed to be a lot of actually really good play by Longzhu in terms of a macro sense. They really focused on Smeb over in the top lane. Crash was over there a lot, and was doing a lot of work, actually. Even though the scoreline is only 2-2 and 4, just like the amount of work at least did in the early game was very impressive. It seemed both lanes were kind of just trying to camp top, trying to either get the other person ahead or just make it happen. So Longzhu goes in there, and Smeb gets not even caught out. Smeb was just like camped and just in a situation where I don't even think he knew how to get out of it. He would be under tower, and Longzhu just did very good tower dives. I think it was actually probably more on score to be able to not necessarily bail him out, but keep track of what the jungler is doing, so that Smeb would have more options as opposed to just kind of like being there, like, well, I'm on tower and I'm dead because there's nothing to do. So Smeb has a poor game score-wise, but I think score is the reason for that. That's a weird sentence. But either way, anyway, KT Rolster just through the long game just kind of proved how much more dominant they are just in general. Death goes 3-0-9 on the Varus and actually does a crap ton of damage. Actually, did I keep the damage numbers? He does the most damage in this game. He does 24.4k damage in this game. The next closest being 14.7k from that Orianna. So as much as I said, a lot of this was Orianna being able to one-shot people eventually and then being able to take objectives after that. Deft was actually doing a lot of work just in the poke game, kind of that underrated damage. It's not like killing everybody, but it's doing much damage so they can go do objectives. So that first game was very interesting. That Longzhu was able to again build a 4.5k gold lead at 25 minutes, and then it just sort of whittled away by some very good play from KT Rolster. So that was kind of the first time we saw KT Rolster kind of challenged, and that would not be repeated in game two. This one was definitely just KT Rolster just wrecked them. This game was basically already over at like. It was honestly over at like the 11-minute mark. Like they got 4 kills onto score. 3 kills onto score. 2 kills on a tower onto score. Ugh, reading wrong. And from there they just kind of snowballed and kept going. There was just like not a whole lot that Longzhu had to answer in this one. Fly, I guess the one sort of interesting point in this, they try a lot on that Kennen pick, both games for Longzhu Gaming. And the first game, it sort of is working, at least it was working early. Second game didn't really work at all. Smeb on the Maokai has a much better game at 5-1-9, and just a lot better. So again, it's hard to really analyze games where it just one team just kind of wrecks the other team. Like, you know, I said like, oh yeah, Def did so much damage, he had 20,000 damage in the 37-minute game previously, and that being the most damage. Well, like 3 members of KT Rolster did 20,000 damage plus in this game. So just kind of wrecked Longzhu, and Prey and Gorilla not having an easy time so far. I think this Longzhu Gaming team, they're sitting at 1-2 now. I think they're actually going to be a lot better than their record is so far. I think Fly and Crash are super great. I think Expression's an underrated top laner, and Prey and Gorilla, they're famous for what they are. So I think this team's going to be okay. I think this team is still going to end up being kind of a top 5 team. They're just having a rough go. They do, again, drop that one game as MVP, and now they've dropped this game, so they've been on a slide. And I think they can be a lot better. Wait, Longzhu didn't lose the... Wait, who did Longzhu lose last week? I forgot off the top of my head. It wasn't now I'm going to look it up real quick. Longzhu Gaming. Who'd you lose to? They beat Jin Air Greenwings. But they lost to Samsung Galaxy, which is something you can kind of forgive. So losing to Samsung Galaxy and losing to KT Rolster is something you can forgive. They want to be able to compete against those teams, but just it's not quite there for them yet. But I think they're going to be fine as the season goes on. So to my boys, the BBQ Olivers, and then this matchup against the Jin Air Greenwings. This is kind of a very important game, more probably for the Jin Air Greenwings to just kind of like not be so far in the basement that it's really, really hard to get out. Again, I'm pretty hyped on BBQ Olivers. I think they're a playoff team. I think they're going to be I think last year as ESC Ever, they kind of finished near the bottom, but I think now with some changes, they are good enough to be a playoff team in the LCK, and I think on the back of Tempt, they're going to be able to do that. Tempt ends up playing the Cassiopeia in this first game, goes 2-0-7, and really goes off, and really does a lot of really great things. Again, just the amount of utility brought from her stun and being that flash ult, and just like the amount of just like pure raw damage you kind of output from doing that is super impressive. Bless on this Kha'Zix ends up being disgusting, goes 7-2-3. Does a lot of work in the early game to kind of help get the first tower there, and then and get a double kill at about the 20-minute mark. That really led to the snowball of the rest of this game, and for BBQ Olivers to go on and continue to win and continue to be extremely strong. So another strong game out of BBQ Olivers, and another a great performance. And then this second game was another bit of a stomp. Tempt ends up playing that Corki, that pick that I like so much, and shows its strength off really, really well. Kuzan ends up flexing the Malzahar, and Malzahar ends up going mid lane, and it doesn't quite work out. I think Corki is a pretty good matchup against that Malzahar there, just like through the laning phase, just not a whole lot Malzahar's going to be able to do once Corki kind of is able to just poke him out and stuff. And I think, yeah, you can send Voidlings after the Corki, but I think it's just like you kind of just back up and you're fine with it. It's not. I honestly think the Voidlings are more of a threat near the bottom lane and more annoying in the bottom lane than they are in the mid lane, to be honest, even though like you're theoretically Malzahar is more powerful at that point. And you end up getting a lot of pushing power. But there's a lot of pushing power out of Corki too, so that ends up answering it. The Tom Kench goes over to Jin Air Greenwings this one. They try to do that to answer kind of that Ashe pick that Ghost had, but it just proved to not be good enough. And despite, actually, Jin Air Greenwings do get a few early kills in this game. They actually have the first 3. Kha'Zix does start 3-0 in this game, and it's looking decent from there, but creep score and just like overall map play was going in favor of BBQ Olivers anyway, so they didn't even get much of a gold lead from those kills. It still ended up being dragons and towers going over onto the side of BBQ Olivers, and just through better macro play and proving that this team isn't just Tempt carrying them super hard, even though he does do really well on that Corki again, 3-1-6 and 26,000 damage. So it is a lot on him, but his team kind of reminds me of like, this is almost negative, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of TSM when like Bjergsen, it was like everything is kind of focused on Bjergsen, and it's not, and I don't think it's, I've never really thought it was like, okay, everyone make sure Bjergsen's fed. I actually thought it was just like, hey, Bjergsen's the carry of this team and everyone else can play a good role on the team, and that's what this team does really well. Tempt is going to be a very, very strong carry and continue that forward, and I think Bless is an extremely strong jungler. 1-0-11 on the Lee Sin, which has not a very good win rate right now in the LCK. I believe the only other team to win with a Lee Sin on their team has been SKT T1. So again, BBQ has only lost to KT Rolster so far. Kind of a loss you can forgive. You can definitely forgive losing to any of those two teams. And I'm excited to see what they kind of do next against better competition. Because honestly, Jin Air Greenwings is probably a bottom barrel team, but it's nice to see you beating those bottom barrel teams. Okay, so that's actually it for week 2 of the LCK. This is kind of a weird week. They kind of split up the week this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. So like Wednesday being last game, were the last games of this week. Then next week you have Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, where normally it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday every day, or every week rather. So now it's just like week 2 is kind of a weird 2 weeks in a row. So week 3 will be the next time we're back. We'll be back Thursday. We'll see Kongdu Monsters versus Longzhu Gaming, KT Rolster versus a Freak of Freaks. I guess since we won't see each other for a little while, I'll just quickly go over what the current standings are, even though some teams haven't played in week 2 yet. KT Rolster and SK Telecom T1 sit alone on top at 3-0. Samsung Galaxy and BBQ Olivers get the next spot there, both of them 2-1. The Freak of Freaks right now is 1-1. With only one win because they haven't played in this week yet, so they play next week. Longzhu Gaming, Rocks Tigers, MVP, all with 1-2 records, and sitting at the bottom is Kongdu Monster at 0-2, Jin Air Greenwings at 0-3. Everything's kind of like lining up a little bit like I would expect it. There's not a lot of surprise in the LCK. I think, well, to be fair, I think not everyone is as hyped about BBQ Olivers as I was. And to be fair, I was only started to be hyped after watching the first week of BBQ Olivers, and I went, this team's gonna be legit. So it's probably unfair for me to say, oh, I predicted they'd be this good, but I just watched them week 1 and was like, if they continue this, they're pretty good. And they are. Again, they only lose to KT Rolster, and that's fine. But besides BBQ Olivers, I think everyone else is kind of shaking out how you thought they'd shake out. You probably thought Longzhu Gaming and BBQ Olivers flipped. And maybe a Freak of Freaks maybe should be 2-0. Maybe that's the only things that you kind of if you're preseason picking and all that would have been happening at this point so far. But it's been a good LCK so far. I'm excited to see once KT Rolster and SK Telecom T1 finally play each other. They don't for a while. In fact, I think the best competition either of those teams have is next week. That KT Rolster versus the Freak of Freaks might be the best competition that either of those teams have at to this point. SKT should continue to roll, and because they play MVP next week, so they have a really easy schedule early on. But I think and Freak of Freaks even play SK Telecom T1 in week 4. So next week I think it should be interesting. I think that a Freak of Freaks game, KT Rolster game, is going to be the one to watch and the one to kind of like really shake that out and enjoy and see if Freak of Freaks can kind of come back after kind of a shaky start so far. So that's it for this show. If you like this video, please clicky the likey button and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more of this stuff. I also stream on this channel and do other gaming videos and all that jazz. I also use this as my video portfolio thing, so there's sometimes short films and other things on this channel. So check everything out. Check out Into League too while you're at it. Follow on Facebook there, Johnny Esports content. That'll be a lot of times when I put the content on the Facebook page. So that's kind of the easiest way to update if you don't subscribe to this channel. At Johnny Esports on Twitter. I live tweet during esports events and stuff, so if you kind of want to join the conversation with me while I'm watching a game and doing notes. LCK, I don't often do live. It's 2 in the morning when I'm watching live, and I'm usually too lazy and tired to want to tweet. And then when I usually watch the second game as a VOD, so I don't do those live, but I do NALCS and EULCS when I'm watching them live, usually live tweet during those events, and Counter-Strike too, actually, if you're into Counter-Strike. Twitch.tv/AYBTV, check out that channel. I stream there normally on Tuesdays. I didn't yesterday, but I normally stream there on Tuesdays, and just general gaming and stuff like that. All right, thanks. I'm Johnny Esports. I'm out of here. I'll see you next time.